All right, everybody. Welcome to Moonhawk Studios Presents Such As It Is. I'm your host, Mac Paladin, and with me in the studio is my good friend Adam.
Yeah, another guest is currently missing for no adequately explained reason. I,
Yeah,
I wish I knew,
unfortunately.
but you know they're unresponsive right now. So yeah,
Yeah. Of course, we got Kevin in the house.
We're here, dealing with another ghost again.
Yeah.
Got ghosted.
Petty fan on the technicals.
I didn't burst into flames yet.
The night is young.
That's why I put the yet in there.
Yep. And we've got the Golics.
As foretold in the Ancient Apocrypha.
Since it's Apocrypha, nobody read it, so they didn't know about it, right?
Oh, a lot of people read Apocrypha.
Oh, that's true.
It just doesn't count.
It depends on who you ask.
It just doesn't count according to the people who make most of the rules.
It's a violation of canon law. Oh, Lord. We have an entertaining show for you tonight, regardless. We're just going to muddle through this and make it happen. So, with that in mind, Adam, why don't you go ahead and get us started with the news?
let's see. News. Well, your birthday's in a couple days.
Oh,
So that's happening. And let's see. I think I saw that inflation is cooling down.
hooray!
Oh man.
That'll be true. That'll be true until the rumors of us getting what is it? They stop using oil dollars.
Petrodollars.
Yeah, petrodollars. Yeah. Assuming that rumor's even true.
And
Actually, rumors are all that matters for money.
You know,
because money's fucking made up.
You know what? That's probably accurate.
Based.
All right, I'm just setting up my little portable phone here, so.
And like I said, just keeping an eye out for the guests in case they respond. Like literally a repeat of last week.
I mean, weirder stuff has happened around here.
Mm-hmm.
True. And
all
like
right.
worst comes to worst, I get a notification tomorrow that something or other happened, and can we reschedule for such and such? But again, that is a thing that has happened before,
as we're told in the ancient Jedi texts.
Is that the one that told them to kill the kids?
Wow.
All right, Kevin, tagging you in.
I really don't have much other than the week was busy at the AMC, and I really don't have much else as usual. So,
well, welcome to Deadpool and Wolverine.
Pretty much, yes.
Like,
so yeah, that's about.
Movies that are out. What other movies?
Yeah. Well, there's still Twisters out there for people down here, so Anyhow, Petty, what's going on in your world?
Well, my mom and sister decided to go see my niece in Texas for her 13th birthday, and they're basically spending a week down there. I still think it's a stupid idea because mom still doesn't have a job yet, so. But what do I know? So yeah, I've basically been taking care of the house. Like, Dad's kind of here, but he works, 9 to 5 and is like an hour and a half drive to and from work. So I see him maybe an hour or two a day before he has to go to bed, and he leaves before I get up. So I'm basically home alone.
Ugh.
Yeah. I mean, it's overall fine, especially because though it's been hot, like I can just go jump in the pool whenever I want. Who the fuck's gonna stop me, you know? And yeah, also finished getting what I want. Well, I didn't get everything I want, but I got a lot of what I wanted from the Xbox 360 store shutting down. Which that's in a way that's kind of sad because like 360 was my teenage years, and now the storefront is bye bye. Um, and yeah, overall, just been kind of quiet over in this neck of the woods. So next person, I believe that is
That would be
below.
you,
Well,
Dylan.
I'm looking at a kind of busy August between a couple of things. I have, I think is it our next week guest? Is someone I arranged for, and I'm hoping that goes well. My parents are going away for part of the month. I believe there's a Digimon pre-release at the local game store this weekend.
I wish I
Or
had
is
a
that
look.
next?
It's this week because it's a week before the actual set launches, and it launches on the 7th.
Okay, so yeah, that'll be this weekend. So I'm gonna try and go to that. And my sister's baby is due first weekish of September, which means it could be any time from, second half of August to end of September because baby schedule answers to no man.
As someone who was born like 6 weeks early, yeah.
So yeah, we'll see how that goes. And I need to get my car maintenance sometime in this too. Video game wise, I've been trying to keep up on Splatoon 3 a bit, and I've actually been spending a good amount of time playing the unofficial Digimon card game simulator to try out different decks. But yeah, that's probably about all I've got going on.
All right. Well, I'm sitting here reorganizing a anime figure shelf that I just installed on the wall during the pre-show. They installed a dehumidifier this week on Monday, and they're only 2 weeks late.
Yeah. Hope you enjoy your mold.
Yeah, enjoying the black lung. Other than that, it's just setting things up for Arcade Anarchy and getting my VTubing machine back in order, so that way we can actually have some kind of semblance of a show schedule going forward. Working long hours. In fact, I'm surprised I actually got back on time because I diddled around most of today trying to get ready to go out and do some day driving because I didn't drive Monday morning. Well, I didn't drive Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday night, or most of the morning today. So yeah, I kind of got to get on the ball. Otherwise, we're just going to have a repeat of what's been going on ad infinitum with me not paying bills and whatnot. So kind of want to correct that. But progress is being made. I did actually manage to get out there and at least get dinner monies for after the podcast. So I go over to Cane's and get myself a box meal and then get my ass on my horse and get going. Other than that, it's just flood cleanup and making determinations about setting up new stations. As I mentioned to the crew, of course, I'm now at a standing podcasting station where my gut is not pressing on my diaphragm when I sit, which is an unhealthy position. And I do need more time standing. Good for circulation, especially when you're pre-diabetic. So it feeds my ADHD need to pace around the room while I'm not talking. So it kind of kills two birds with one stone, you know? One of those things where it helps me with my neuroses as well as facilitating clearer voice and clearer communication during the podcast. So overall, I'm pretty happy with the new setup. I wanted to do it last week, but I couldn't get the machine to boot up right away. As I said, I'm still recovering from a flood, and I got everything thrown together at the last possible second, and then ended up just going into the other room and sitting on my production machine. So I'm happy everything's kind of set up today and kind of working. And my alternative goal here is to actually start simulcasting on both TikTok channels. When I do VTubing, I'm planning on having my phone set up to record gameplay footage over my shoulder without actually having me on camera on TikTok. And then I'm also going to set this channel up so that way I can record Blue Mondays and the podcast and simulcast that to TikTok as well. So that'll be our first experiment in multicasting, multi-streaming, if you will.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm trying to create some kind of variation on this because literally everybody does this. There's no mystery or magic to multi-streaming anymore. So I want to give something of visual interest, something that people can look around. Like, you know, I often talk about how I've done a lifetime of collecting both physical material objects as well as experiences. And so I would like to be able to share some of that with my viewers. And so with that in mind, I've been setting up ring light camera stands for my phones all over the house so that I can actually accomplish this goal. So we'll see how it goes. We'll play it by ear. It may be an intermittent thing initially, but I do have live status on both of my TikTok accounts, both for VTubing and for my, as they say in cringeworthy fashion, flesh tubing channel. Yeah. Go ahead.
That is a word combination that I never want to hear again.
The other alternative is face camming if we go back about 15 years, you know.
Oh, something real quick. We just started having a thunderstorm here, so if the stream goes down, not a whole lot I can do about that.
Okay.
The next year can do that.
We'll do our best to keep it concise, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I think for the moment that's kind of it. You know, it's just flood damage cleanup and me making moves to take my second trip this year out to San Diego to visit with Nathan and friends and see if he has any more hardware that he can't use to give me to help facilitate this monstrosity we call a streaming empire.
To replace your now moistware?
Yeah, pretty much. It's no longer software, it's moist. You got to say it that way. You got to say it real weird.
I thought we were leaving that shit to Republicans.
You know, I've made this joke a couple of times on social media already, but I'll say it again here. I'm just waiting for J.D. Vance to announce his latest plan to get Roscoe to repossess the Duke farm.
That would be normal compared to what he's actually being accused of.
You know, I figured, but you see, what he doesn't realize is that we've got the receipts about his time with the Ridge Runners and all those illegal drag races, you know, so it's only a matter of time before he has to resign as county commissioner.
I'm just waiting to hear that they're fucking reanimating Ronald Reagan.
He'd probably pull better at this point.
The corpse of Ronald Reagan will get more votes.
Probably.
Oh my God. So yeah, that's pretty much what I got. What are you doing, fuckers? Hippie.
Oh, I think you're
Don't
talking to us. It's like we're sitting here listening to you yap.
Yeah. We're live, pal.
He's trying to rip up the curtain that I have. I have a gaming curtain I got off of Temu over this closet that has no doors. And he's batting at it, and I'm about to smack him. So yeah, that's pretty much all we got going on, though, as far as like things going on here in the studio. So we may as well just jump right into it. Adam, is there anything we need to talk about this week?
I guess Adam's dead.
As opposed to interviewing a guest who is not here. Do we want to talk about the latest things going on in politics?
Adam probably had to go do a thing.
Or he's in
All right.
connection hell.
Or
Or
that.
I got it. Stupid.
Or he's in Mexico.
Like, no. When I mouse off of Discord, it stops broadcasting, and I don't know why.
That's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, no word from the guest.
All right. Well, what should we talk about alternatively? Because I don't really have much of anything. I've been too busy fixing shit.
Oh, there's plenty to talk about.
Good to hear.
I'm like, but the question is, where do we want to go? Do we want to go entertainment? Do we want to go politics?
Let's start with politics since we have an entertainment section. At the end.
Yeah,
Okay.
considering we need to fill like a freaking hour or so here. Yeah.
I mean, we had San Diego Comic-Con happen during the weekend, so there is no shortage of entertainment news this week.
Oh, then you know what? Then Adam, I will say, since you handle the interviews in most cases, we'll call it dealer's choice. You pick.
Yeah, let's go politics because.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Where to start?
Well, it's like, how do I put this? Yeah. Joe Biden tagging in Kamala Harris when he did may have been one of the smartest political moves in history.
Of all freaking time, okay?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've
Because,
actually seen quite a bit of commentary on this because a lot of people were like, he could have done it on the 4th of July, been real patriotic about it, and that would have been cool. But his timing was amazing because he waited until after the Republican convention to totally foobar them.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Oh boy, has this short-circuited Trump and friends, because
it got more foobarred today.
Trump demanding a refund because he had all of his attack ads for Joe
that's
Biden.
Old news. That's old news.
Well, we didn't have a
That's
chance
old
to talk
hat.
about it, but it's still hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, guess who Trump decided to speak towards today?
The National
weirdos?
Association. No. The National Association of Black Journalists. Who, by the way, no. Here's the backstory about that. Because it's a case of they invited him to come there because of the whole concept of they're nonpartisan. They want to talk to both parties, which is something that is a historical thing.
Right.
The problem is that when it came to Kamala Harris, the black vice president, and she is black. We'll get to that later.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we're going to get to that later because there's something to talk about that.
Tip for people who have a hard time understanding things: a person can be more than one thing.
Well, that's true too, but also, I use the same, and I've said this on social media many times. I use the same philosophy that white supremacists use. It's like you may as well claim everybody because the white supremacists don't give a damn as long as you are one drop or more of anything else. You are
exactly, yes. But we'll get to that in a second. But more important here, when it came to Kamala Harris, she's really busy right now because tomorrow she's going to be attending the funeral of Sheila Jackson Lee, the longtime congressman who served Houston. big powerful was a big powerful player in the Congressional Black Caucus. And so she couldn't attend because not only do you have that, but also you have the fact that this weekend she's going to choose her dance partner for the next couple of months, and we still have no idea who that is yet. So she's pretty busy at the moment. So the only way she was going to be able to attend the big convention for the NABJ, which is being held in Chicago this week, was to be virtual. Unfortunately, the leadership.
Just got an update from the guest.
Okay.
Family emergency happened.
Okay.
Yeah, this
Well,
once
then.
again. Yes. Shit. I'm sorry.
We will
Going on at work
reschedule.
and with my family that lost track of things. So
Okay.
we'll do. Yeah.
We will reschedule and otherwise carry on.
Yeah.
Okay. So at least that the guest got back to us. So
Yep.
Yeah.
that's all. I mean, if the
Like I
situation
said,
such as this, that's all we ask. But anyway, back to the point here. So the only way that Kamala was going to attend this convention of the NABJ was via virtual because of the busy schedule she has. Unfortunately, the leadership decided they wanted none of that for some ungodly reason.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, already coming into today, it was a I guess we could say I could curse now because it's late in the show. Shitstorm. Yep. It was a massive shitstorm already going in.
Welcome.
A lot of people
show every single day.
Yes, with him, yes. So already it was a shit show going in because a lot of the members of the NABJ are like, do you remember how he treated 3 of our former journalists of the year during his administration? Yeah. He has a history of being an asshole to black journalists, particularly black women journalists. Particularly to black women journalists, specifically to Yamiche Alcindor, from PBS, and April Ryan of the Griot. So he's had a tendency to do that. So everybody knew it going in, except for the leadership. So then today comes. He's an hour late. It was supposed to start at, I believe, noon, 1 Central, somewhere around there, and it was supposed to last for an hour. He was an hour late.
That's fucked up.
Right. That's right out of the box. And then after the first question he's asked, he already tells the black woman reporter from ABC. I forgot her name off the top of my head, and I'm sorry about that. But he already off the top says that the question was asked to him in a nasty way. So already, fresh out the box, he's already being an asshole.
I'm sorry, Mr. Trump, but you got to earn respect. You don't just. It's not. It's not just beholden to you, sir.
Right. So already you have so it becomes it's pretty clear already that he's there for a confrontational tone. And then he goes and he says and puts up the suggestion that Kamala Harris isn't really black because, of course, her mother came from India, and apparently a couple years ago in a clip she said this to someone that you look like one half of my family. And suggesting, is she really black? She turned black, apparently, according to him. You know, Kamala Harris, who went to Howard University, a HBCU, is a member of one of the Divine Nine historically black sororities. You know, yeah, she turned black a couple years ago. Yeah. And they're already starting to do the birtherism shit. So we're going full bore into racist misogyny, racist misogynoir, right out of the box.
Yes, Doodles, that is
because
exactly
they have nothing. Because he has nothing else.
Right.
He has nothing else now. Like, he can try to do the whole economic stuff, the world is bad and everything else, but it doesn't work with Kamala like it did with Biden. And really, all of his sexist, misogynistic shit doesn't work with Kamala like it did with Hillary, because Hillary already had backers going back, 30, 40 years.
Oh my good lord.
So yeah, honestly, this is not surprising to me. It should not be surprising to anybody. This is where it was going to go. It was going to get here eventually. It was just a case of when he was going to turn here. I was thinking it was probably going to be in September or October.
Oh, I hope he keeps going with this, because this is all to the benefit of Democrats if they just play it cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
There's an 11-minute supercut of this 35-minute interview.
Yeah. By the way, a reminder: this was supposed to last a fucking hour. It was cut off at the halfway point.
That's fucked.
Which, the campaign is saying it's not a big. The campaign is like, we kicked ass. Media is focusing on the wrong shit. It's like, no.
Just remember, Kevin. The Christians only need to come out and vote one more time for old Trumpy Trump.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
He'll come out and fix it for them permanently.
Yeah, obviously. But I mean, it's like, yeah, this was a complete and total mess. Except for probably, Trump's real core, who are probably going to eat this shit up and are going to put it on blast for the next couple of months because, again, they got nothing else. And let me remind you, all of this is happening before our convention, where we're going to have 4 freaking nights of television to basically dump a whole lot of cold water on him, essentially. So
I think that Harris at this point needs to stage a Ossoff debate.
She's running on it.
Where she argues with an empty podium.
Oh yes, she's already said, "I'm going to be there on September 10th. Will you?" She's basically saying, She said, "I'm going to be there September 10th. We'll see if he shows up."
And if there's anything that infuriates Trump more than being a loser, it's being called out for being a pussy.
Yeah, because it's literally I think it was last night in Atlanta. She said, "If you got something to say it to my face."
It is not a good time to remember that she's a former prosecutor.
And he's the felon.
She's gonna have fun with him.
Oh yeah, she has been waiting for this for fucking years. She wanted this. What's happening right now? She and a lot of her supporters, including myself, wanted it to be in 2020. This is what we wanted 2020 to be.
Mm-hmm.
She's been wanting this moment for fucking years. She is fucking. And that's why Trump's scared to death right now, because he knows that. She's been he does not want to get embarrassed by a black woman. Like, that is the last thing that he wants.
And on Monday, of course, on the Daily Show with Jon Stewart, they decided that they were going to make their entire platform because she's a woman and because she's black and because she's a black woman.
That's the whole reason. That's all they got now.
Yeah.
That's it. None of the economic stuff is going to work on Biden because on Kamala, because the economy is strong right now, and probably by September they're going to cut interest rates because we have a strong freaking economy.
And let me say the quiet part out loud here. If you're going to use the argument that she slept her way to the top, I'm going to point out to you right now that automatically elevates her to the status of legend if she got this far off of sleeping her way to the top.
Also, bring receipts, asshole.
Right.
Yeah. It's like,
if you're going to make the argument, you've got two things that are working against you: receipts and the optics of.
Yeah, it's like
that officially makes her a legend.
Yeah, it's like.
There's no downside to this for her.
It's like, she slept with Willie Brown. Okay, maybe that works for the district attorney in San Francisco County. California Attorney General, really? The Senate seat, freaking vice president? Is Willie Brown really that powerful in the 2010s? I don't think so. Like we barely see Willie Brown on TV last 15 years.
Look, I think I explained this to everybody back in 2020 that the only reason I didn't vote for her over Joe Biden was because at the time, Joe Biden was the one who was being positioned to be most likely to win. And he did so in spectacular fashion.
Right.
But I totally would have voted for her in the primaries if I thought it would have made a difference in her favor.
I really think that she probably would have gotten just as much of a boost from the South and Southwest that Biden event inevitably got. It would have been the two of them all over the South and Southwest because.
Right, but what I'm saying was this is now her time to shine. She needed a little more time. She needed a little more time to work it out. That's all.
Honestly, that's probably right. I mean,
plus she's coming from a higher position than she did in 2020.
In 2019 and 19, yeah.
Well, and let's face facts. I mean, since Kennedy, there is still a weird stigma in this country against senators rising to the presidency. Even though Obama, and
Biden.
Joe Biden was a former senator as well, but he also was vice president in between.
Right.
So we always point to the fact that it's very rare that senators go directly from the Senate to the White House. That's no longer a thing. I mean, but it's still something that people, it really shouldn't be a thing, but it is still a thing that people think about for some unknown reason. So now she's vice president. She's got a full-throated backing from the Democratic Party, as far as I can.
Yeah, I mean, the fact of the matter, look, here's what happened here. It's like, I think Joe Biden already had it in his mind that he probably wanted to drop out, but, he needed to, ensure that he had to keep appearances, number one, and number two, remember the reason that he ran in the first place. Uniter, restore the soul, etc., etc.
Right.
The last thing that he wanted to do is to drop out and then go, have at it, boys.
Right.
Which would lead to a massively divided, horrendously divided even Democratic Party.
Mm-hmm.
It would probably lead to a rerun of 68 in the actual way, not in the fake way of, protest outside, yada yada. No, it would have been literally chaos in the hall, chaos in the freaking building. Probably whoever the nominee is would probably speak around midnight. And we all saw how that worked for Trump.
Now we're gonna see some unity in the Democratic Party that we haven't seen for a long time.
Yeah. But Joe Biden did not want that to happen. And there were a lot of people in the Democratic Party who actually wanted that to happen. Let's be freaking honest here. Let's not beat around the bush here. Because we're not gonna focus attention much on it for the next couple of months because we got business to take care of. The moment this election is over, a lot of the people who were out here just bombarding the media, just bombarding everybody, trying to pressure Joe Biden out via the press. Okay? Like, that's what they were doing. A lot of those people wanted the open convention. They wanted that whole, Condoleezza Rice, Tim McGraw bullshit that they were putting out there. Like,
am I mistaken?
That whole thing.
Am I mistaken in my recollection, or did Joe Biden also say that if necessary, he would only be a one-term president?
He did not.
He did not. Let's be fair. He never, ever, ever, ever said he was only going to be a one-term president. He never said that. He never promised that. That was something that was spread around by people who wanted it that way. But he never promised that. Let's be clear here.
Okay.
Right? So.
I'm just asking for clarity.
Good. So, yeah. For clarity's sake, he never said that. Now. So, everybody wanted that open. There was a lot of the leadership in the Democratic Party, unfortunately, wanted that open convention. So Joe Biden's like, no, fuck you. I know how that's going to go. I was actually fucking there. And I know people also who were fucking there in 1968 and in 1972, which is probably the more apropos example here. So I know how that shit goes down. It's not the way you think it will. It's not going to excite anybody. It's not going to excite anybody but the television networks who are going to expose a broken, divided, infighting party. No, what's going to happen is this. You're going to have my vice president, who's been with me since day one, who's been in the Situation Room during every single important moment of my presidency, who, just like me, has read the Presidential Daily Briefing of Intelligence every single fucking day.
Mm-hmm.
And she's ready for this. She's wanted this for fucking years. It's going to be her, or I am going to stay on this ticket and drag all y'all down. So what's it going to be?
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened here. And Kamala, and you know Kamala was ready for this because the moment that endorsement came out, she was in her house at the Naval Observatory, wearing a Howard University hoodie, right near the phone, and went on a 10-hour, 100-call binge to let everybody know, hey, I'm here, I ain't going nowhere, and nobody else is going to touch me because you really want the base of the Democratic Party to go against you? I don't fucking think so, pal.
Mm-hmm.
And also, she apparently made some calls to other people as well. The UAW apparently had a little bit of issues with Joe, and they were pissed off and everything else. So Kamala was like, "Hey, Joe's gone. Sorry about that. Let's get back to business, huh?"
Do you want a slightly more left pro union candidate to back you up here, or what?
Yeah. So yeah. But yeah, this whole thing is because Joe Biden decided to tell the people who were telling him that they wanted a open convention or some shit like that to go, "F you. I'm having my girl Kamala here as the nominee, and if you don't like it, kiss this."
Write-ins are an option. Good luck, dumbass.
The expression
Yeah.
"kick rocks" is perfectly valid.
Kick rocks, kiss this, whatever you want. But yeah, the reason why it was so smooth is because Joe Biden made it so. Because Joe Biden was a senator for 50 fucking years and is a Democratic Party lifer. So he knows how this shit works.
Yep.
And he also has other Democratic Party lifers around him, including Jim Clyburn, who went around on television, who went, "I was there in 68 and 72. I know how this open convention stuff turns out. It doesn't turn out well." So, yeah, but
And
yeah, the fact of the matter is that
anybody,
everything has been removed. Sorry, go ahead.
and anybody suggesting that Biden has passed it or he was puppeted into doing this, the interview where he started challenging, he's like, "Where the hell was the media during Trump's 18 to 28 lies during that debate?" He's like, "You focused on how much I stumbled." He's like, "But you didn't focus on any of his lies whatsoever." And I forget, who was he interviewing with?
I think that was Lester Holt. I think it was the Lester Holt one.
Yeah. Lester, he was with
Either,
Lester
it was
Holt.
either the Lester Holt one. Yeah, it was either the Lester Holt one or the George Stephanopoulos one. One of the two.
The George Stephanopoulos one. Fuck George Stephanopoulos, because he was the one who said, "Oh, I don't think I'm going to make it another 4 years." It's like, fuck you, George. It's like, but the Lester Holt one, he definitely held his feet to the fire on that one, and it's like, yeah, Dark Brandon is back.
Yeah,
he was just having an off day.
Yeah, I think honestly, it's probably was a lot. This decision probably has a lot to do with the fact that tired of this shit.
Yeah.
I think he was tired. He was tired of the media. He was tired of, the leadership around him, telling him, you can't do this anymore. Your old hat, just pass it, pass the torch to somebody. They don't want to say who, just pass the torch, put the torch down and let them fight over it. He's like, y'all, I'm out of here. I'm going to say fuck y'all. I'm going to pass the torch to Kamala, who y'all don't fucking want. Yeah, Nancy doesn't want her because of California political bullshit. Obama doesn't want him. He probably wants Pete. You know, none of the people really want Kamala, but Joe does, and Joe's like, you know what? Fuck y'all. I'm giving it to Kamala. Kamala has the black base in her hands. And if y'all don't like it, well, tell the black base of the party that they don't matter anymore. Watch how that works,
Yeah.
Einstein. Watch what happens.
It's working real well for Trump so far.
Yeah. Yeah, and Joe Biden. Joe Biden right now Joe Biden's watching all this, just grinning like a Cheshire cat, going, "See, you see what happens when I actually. You see what happens? Yeah. If it was
Now he's able to get out there and make moves in silence. That's the best part about it. Is that now he can do what he does best, which is making backroom deals.
Right, and Joe Biden also is going to have a whole night of the Democratic convention, the opening night of the convention, all to himself. It's going to be a massive love fest for him that first night. And it's like, this is my night. And then at the end of the night, it's like, now it's Kamala's turn. Good luck. I'll be there for you, kid.
He's like,
and
look,
he's going to get all the love.
He's like, look, not only did I do what you wanted, I did what was in the best interest of the nation. So,
yeah. And he's going to get a love fest, the likes of which has not been seen at a political convention since probably, I hate to say it, Reagan.
I mean, it's a fair comparison.
Yeah, it's going to be a similar thing to that night at the 88 Republican convention where he said, "Win one for the Gipper."
Well, except it's not based on a foundation of lies.
Yeah, exactly.
He actually means what he actually means it.
Yeah, Joe Biden actually loves Kamala. Yeah, which is actually kind of amazing considering that bit in the primary and how everybody in Biden's world hated her for it. But Kamala's like, look, and she did the work.
Well,
now the Bidens love her and Doug. Kamala and Doug love them back. And it's going to be a real love fest going to be a real love fest in Chicago, which, it's going to make it more like 1996 than 1968.
Here's the thing. Totally forgot where I was going. Proceed. I had something, but I turned around and it erased my memory.
Mood.
I had something about that. But I know. I know what it was. It was like, unfortunately, what happened in 2020 was that the Democrats succumbed to the old Republican trick of denigrating Kamala passive aggressively because she's a woman.
Well, I think not just a woman, a black woman.
Well, okay. You said the quiet part out loud.
Let's say the quiet part out loud. Let's be real.
No, you're right, and I agree with that. I'm just saying. I didn't say it initially.
Right.
I thought it, but I didn't say it initially, and so.
Well, it's true. It's true. It was just not just for being a woman. That was a part of the thing. But it was also a black woman. But it was partially a woman because there's a reason why Elizabeth Warren's campaign crashed the moment that Bernie got in. And I'll say that for the record. But more to the point here.
Well, he fatally damaged himself in the process.
It was a fender bender on the left lane, is what I compare it to.
Yep.
Like both of them were like Elizabeth Warren was going to be the candidate of the left lane. She had everything going for her. Then Bernie Sanders came in. Bernie Sanders, he who told Elizabeth Warren that a woman couldn't be president.
Ugh.
So,
Well, he seems to have gotten the message. He was pretty positive on Kamala.
Yes.
Maine the other day.
Which is, at first he was, kind of trying to screw around, but he felt the heat and decided to go, okay, fine.
Well, ultimately, everybody has gotten on board with the idea that the most important thing is defeating Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And MAGA-ism in general.
Yeah, because Plan 2025 is very, very, very bad.
This birth of a nation bullshit needs to stop.
Mm-hmm.
We need to stop giving it oxygen. We need to stop letting this fire, this burning ember, turn into conflagration again. We need to stop this because that is the poison that is going to kill our country.
Yeah. Now, so now obviously what everybody right now is waiting for is who is Kamala going to choose to be her dance partner. That's the thing we're waiting for.
I still love Pete Buttigieg, and I know you guys are like, oh, it's too much, but he is so fucking good in the media. And he's so good before Congress.
That's not necessarily the consideration that's being made.
No, it's not. Unfortunately, it's you know.
Or Shapiro from Pennsylvania. I feel pretty good about him.
And Shapiro is on the short list. As
right.
Is
so here's
Shapiro.
So here's the situation here. Here's the situation as it is to this point. After the previously noted funeral that Kamala's going to attend, she's going to go back home, and she likely is going to start doing the process of choosing her dance partner this weekend.
All right.
Apparently, there is a big tour planned for both her and the nominee, and it's going to be starting off in Philadelphia, and including Phoenix and Vegas. Going to be including Raleigh and Savannah, Georgia, and also going to be including Western Wisconsin, specifically Western Wisconsin. Now, if you hear all of those areas, you're probably already thinking that you could probably guess that it's basically a stop for every person on the short list here.
Right.
Philadelphia, obviously, being Shapiro, because he's from nearby Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. Although I should also stress that Philadelphia is also 30 minutes from Wilmington. So it could either be for Shapiro or it could be for anybody. It really just depends on where in Philadelphia it is. So let's go stress that for there. Raleigh and Savannah may not seem like why would that be? Probably for Andy Beshear, governor of Kentucky.
But a bunch of these people have emphatically, as of yesterday, said no, they don't want the consideration. So I think the choice is down to about 3.
Right. But there's actually 4 because for Phoenix and Vegas, it's Senator Mark Kelly. I don't think that it's going to be him. That's not going to be. I don't think it's going to be him.
I would hate to lose him in the Senate, but at the same time, he would be really good for optics.
It's just a case of, do you want to gamble that Senate seat?
Right.
That's the question.
That's the only worry I have. That's the only worry I have about Kevin.
Right. I think for Kamala and the other and everybody, that's probably the big question with him is, do you want to gamble that? Do you want to gamble that? And then for Western Wisconsin,
a good shot at getting reelected. I think he's got a great shot at being reelected senator.
Right.
So
right.
It's what do you want is the sure thing.
Right. Exactly. Then for Western Wisconsin, it's specifically Western Wisconsin because right next door to Western Wisconsin is Minnesota, and that involves the governor there, Mr. Tim Walz, who, boy, he has been going hard for that spot. And I gotta tell you this, I want it. Like if you think, well, the thing for me with Shapiro is that there's a lot of noise in the background with him involving fucking Palestine, and also because of a sexual harassment situation that happened in his office, which probably will get blown up, which I don't think that Kamala wants.
Yeah,
there's a lot of noise with him in the background.
They do already have. They're already taking aim on Kamala's position on Israel. So,
well not necessarily much on Israel. Yeah, I don't think Israel is a big thing with Kamala. It'll only be a big thing if Shapiro's on the ticket.
No. What I'm saying is her position is nominally against Israel and pro-Palestine.
Not really.
Which is the opposite of Joe. So
she's She's committed to a two-state solution. That's what I saw.
She's
really?
less pro-Israel than
No,
Biden, but she's still pro-Israel.
Okay.
Unless your name is Ilhan Omar or Rashida Tlaib,
Right.
you are not pro-Palestine and a politician.
Right. She's less pro-Israel, but still very much pro-Israel.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's just not a viable thing
Right.
outside of a couple of members of the squad.
Uh,
And even then, it's not the full Monty because AOC would not be able to get away with being pro-Palestine in her district. Like,
but yeah, if you're worried about the noise there, I really think that the person that's gone hardest here is Tim Walz, because he's the guy who helped coin the whole concept of calling MAGA people weird that you've heard a lot lately. That was him who floated that up, and that everybody hit it. So, but yeah, if it's not Shapiro, I really want Tim Walz. I really want that Minnesota accent going around. I want that Minnesota toughness. Like, could easily talk with the center right, but to me, it's between it's basically at this point Pete and the governors, and it's just a case of which. And I don't think Mark Kelly is going to get it because of that Senate question.
Right.
So
well, especially because of the circumstances of how he got elected, aren't both seats in Arizona up this time?
Not this time, no. I don't think.
they're up in 26, I think.
Okay.
Wait, are both of them up at 26, or is it just going to be Kelly's? Because
I think
I know
both
that
of them
Cinema's.
Well, Cinema's up now, right?
Yeah, Cinema's seat is up now with
Harry Lake is running
Lake
for that, and we need to focus on making
Lake
sure
and
he
Gallego.
does not get, huh?
Yeah, it's
We need to
Lake
make
and
sure he does not
Gallego
get
for
it.
that. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Gallego. You mean?
Ruben Gallego. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
We got to make sure she does not get into the Senate. She does not need to be in the halls of the legislature.
mhm. Yeah, I mean, and the thing about it is that technically, if she loses this year, she could easily run for that seat if Mark Kelly puts it up.
God, she's too young to go away. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's exactly. So yeah, but yeah, that's probably why Mark Kelly, may get a good consideration, but probably won't get the slot at the end of the day. And it's going to be Pete, who I don't think will get it, simply because, again, like I said, he's probably. I mean, yeah, you may think that he might be ready considering how good he is on the media and stuff like that, but there's still a lot of homophobia in the country, let's say, and I really don't know if, it might hurt him in areas where we need to win.
I mean, it would definitely benefit with the ultra liberals, but
yeah.
I hate to say it, there is a concern there, but man, he is just so good.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's
on the podium. Oh my God!
Look, I hate saying it. Like, I hate saying it,
He just destroys.
I hate saying it because he's good. He's good. He's good every time he's on television. No question about that.
He destroys these talks. And when he goes to these Senate hearings, I mean, he just utterly destroys these clowns with such aplomb.
Yeah. I mean, he's really good. And I mean, that's why it pains me to say that, there's that bigotry there that I don't know if we want to test.
Whatever happens, he needs to be. Whatever happens, if he
needs to stay in the administration.
Yeah,
I mean, he has to stay in the administration. I think he'll stay in the administration.
I don't think he'll be elevated to Secretary of State or something.
Probably, or maybe. I mean, we'll see. But yeah, I think it's going to be a governor because she wants probably someone with executive experience, a governor that deals with crazies in a legislature, and someone who also she can work with that probably won't stab her in the back.
Yeah.
So, But yeah, that's what I think is going to happen. It's going to happen this weekend. It's probably going to happen. I would probably think Saturday or Sunday. It's going to be on a weekend day. Probably for time restraints. And the thing we're going to have to look for is who gets Secret Service, and are there calls going around saying you are not it. Once we start getting those two things, then it's on. So it's just basically a case of right now, to me, pick a gov, any gov, and let's roll. So we'll see what happens.
All right, we're coming up on the 1 hour mark here, so let's
That's a stop there. Yeah.
Let's transition to entertainment. I think we got some pretty good sound bites here.
We got an hour off of it, so yeah.
Yeah. I think we got at least 40 minutes, but I think we got some pretty good sound bites off of this, and I think we covered the important stuff.
I think we've covered the gamut here.
It'll be interesting to see. We'll have a lot more to talk about after the convention.
Yeah. Heck, we'll have a lot to talk about next week, probably.
Yeah.
Because we'll actually have a name.
Mm-hmm. So
yeah.
All right, Adam.
Let's go to San Diego.
Let's go to part 3.
Yeah. So yeah, San Diego Comic-Con happened this past weekend, and trying to think where to start.
In the beginning. Wait, no, hold on.
Well, I mean, once again, there's many different avenues that I could prod here. I guess to start, Clone High has been canceled. One of the quieter bits that came out of San Diego this week, not a surprise since they dumped, technically the back end of season 2, but they were billing it as season 3 in one of those streaming things. But they dumped that all at once. Though I wasn't surprised, considering that the impressions from when it came back were extremely mixed at best. So they called it another middling remake to a decades long property or something like that. I'm like, I remember, I watched the revival seasons. They had their problems, but the bigger problem is, well, I don't know if anyone else here is familiar with Clone High, but Clone High worked in, say, 2003, 2002, because teenage drama series were a lot more, not necessarily numerous, but they were a lot more prevalent. The stuff that the WB, CW...
Prominent was a good word.
Yeah. Stuff like Dawson's Creek.
Oh, yeah.
And Clone High parodied that shit. But since that, once again, it doesn't exist, but the CW isn't exactly powered by that stuff anymore.
The CW isn't powered by much of anything anymore.
Right. But that means Clone High kind of had to make a go of it on its own and wobble. Anyway, so that's that. Harley Quinn season 5 has been formally announced.
Oh boy! I have to watch season 4. I'm finishing up my adventures with Superman, season 2, and I gotta catch up on all the Star Wars shows before I get to that.
I stopped watching my Adventures with Superman once they started pushing Supergirl and Jimmy Olsen as a couple.
I don't have
10 seconds out of the gate.
I don't know if I have a problem with that, but at the same time, I'm ambivalent.
It's more they were starting with the romantic meet cutes and shit.
Oh
just
yeah,
immediately.
it's
And
a bad trope. It's a bad trope.
I know. Like anyway. So also, Kite Man Hell Yeah is going on right now.
See,
Like
now
it's
I'm all in for that.
well, it's what is it this week? 4 episodes deep. But I suppose I can talk about what their plans for season 5 because apparently they're going in a completely different direction than what season 4 ended with. It's a bit head scratching, though. Apparently, it has to do with like the original creative team from like seasons 1 and 2 coming back. But yeah, it looks like Harley, Ivy, and crew are heading to Metropolis.
Okay.
Like, which once again is decidedly different than what they ended season 4 with. So,
Well, is there a precedence? Is there a comic precedence, no matter how obscure? Kind of like the RDJ announcement as Doctor Doom actually has a couple of different precedents in the fact that there was a comic book series where Doctor Doom became Iron Man.
I mean, Harley Quinn's shown up in Metropolis, but nothing to that extent. And more troubling is this threatens to derail something that has happened in the comics, but hasn't happened in any animated form yet. So, yeah, I'm not pleased at what they're the direction they're going for season 5. I won't mince words.
We'll have to wait and see. It could work.
Yeah,
I mean, they're trying to make this Harley Quinn show its own thing. It's its own continuity, obviously.
Right, but I also want to see the Gotham City Sirens.
Ah,
So,
yes.
Yeah. They teased that at the end of season 4.
Which is what that weird Margot Robbie Harley Quinn movie should have been.
Right.
But somehow wasn't.
Well, that's because it was a Birds of Prey movie.
But the Birds of Prey are Batman's daughter and Oracle and what's her name? Black Canary?
Yeah, Black Canary, Oracle. Harley has been a bird of prey. Like, but the problem is, it's a Birds of Prey movie that they tried to market as a Harley Quinn movie.
Right. Well, because they were so off the beaten. Anyway, we'll go off into an hour-long tangent about that. I'm not interested in that right now. Moving on with the actual stuff that's going on.
Yeah. Well, it's time for the Star Trek updates.
Ah, yes. Section 31 finally dropped its preview trailer.
Yep. It looked pretty bad, if I'm being honest. Hopefully they have a better...
I had no idea what the hell was going on. It was so chaotic.
Like, I hope they got something better for an actual trailer, because, that looked like shit, if I'm being honest. I mean, I guess maybe that's
the fooling around and debauchery. That's all it looked like to me.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they're going with, because it's Section 31, a secret organization. We're not supposed to know what they're doing. Look, that's the best they got.
I mean, Section 31 has always been portrayed, even in the Kurtzman era, as being, shall we say, more conservative than that?
Right. I'm worried about this thing. I won't lie.
Yeah, no, I am too. But more news has come out but on a positive note, more news has come out about Starfleet Academy that is worth trumpeting about.
Go ahead.
So they have announced additional cast members. They have confirmed Tilly, which everybody was braying for, absolutely going bonkers for. They also confirmed Tig Notaro as Jet Reno, as a regular, not as a guest star, as a permanent fixture on the series, and Robert Picardo as the Doctor, 800 years hence. The same character, 800 years older.
I mean, he's a hologram, so...
And as Picardo himself said at the panel, he says, holograms don't age. So it
Right.
will be very interesting. Thus making Starfleet Academy into both a Discovery and a Voyager sequel in a weird way.
Hmm.
So I'm kind of excited about this, how they're tying it back to continuity to silence the naysayers who are like, well, they put it so far in the future so they didn't have to answer to the old shows. Okay. And so I'm kind of
Right.
excited about this news because it gives us something to latch onto. It gives us something new, but an air of familiarity as well, to kind of
Yep.
calm our nerves going into this thing, because it's some uncharted territory. Paul Giamatti, of course, was originally going to be a bit part, but now he's going to be a long-term villain.
That's a good choice there, since Paul Giamatti is usually good.
Yep. And of course, we have Holly Hunter as the star of the show.
Hmm.
So it's looking pretty good to me. Now the only thing
Right.
I'm waiting for is whether or not Netflix is going to renew Prodigy for season 3 and give it that full arc.
Right, but we also have some Lower Decks news.
Indeed. Go ahead.
Well, they did drop the trailer for the final season, but more to the point, they did announce a new comic series.
Ah,
So Lower Decks is continuing on in comic book form.
so they're calling it canon?
I think so. Let me actually get the article here.
I mean, they have the right. They have the right to do so, as the Roddenberry rule is now 30 years past his death. More than 30 years.
Let's see.
Technically, they always have that right. I think people need to get on board with that whole fact. Is that
Yeah.
anything that the producers declare as canon is canon?
Mm-hmm.
IDW will be publishing Star Trek comics through 2029, starting with the new Lower Decks series. Did they not actually give this a name? Guess it doesn't have a formal name yet, but no, they're just calling it Lower Decks.
Okay.
So, like I said, it may not be the season 6 and onward that people want, but it's faring better than some other things.
It's something. It means they're not throwing it into the waste bin of history.
Right. Anyway, so I suppose over to, I say comics, but the big two's film universes, really.
Mm-hmm.
Because Marvel, they may have been the main event, but DC wasn't absent this year. Mainly because they actually have plans now. They're not just waiting for the fucking Snyderverse to earn itself out through contractual obligations anymore. And related to that, DC is bringing back the old Bullet logo, which had a lot of people happy for. I'll be honest, I don't really care, mainly because I've never really cared for the Bullet logo, one way or the other. And I'm like, okay, that's nice, but I'm not exactly sure what it signifies in the context of DC Studios. Like, are you saying you're going back to the past or something? That doesn't appear to be the case. Like I said, I mean, I guess to get the fan base on board, I guess that worked. I don't know. In much bigger news, first pieces of the, let's say, Gunniverse. If we're going with such designations, really we should be calling it the Gunverse or Gunner, whatever. But so we're getting a gender swap penguin series.
Okay.
Like, Well, try to guess the reaction to that.
Oh no, you can't have a female penguin because insert reasons that don't make sense.
Yeah, because
I'm
this
like-
is totally not a fictional character that doesn't actually exist.
Yeah, it's like one reason another. I'm like, meanwhile, we've gotten like caveman Batman, and that's perfectly fine.
And Man-Bat.
Well, Man Bat's a separate character.
I know, but it's still, you know.
I suppose.
Was anyone aware that Blake Lively played Ladypool in the Deadpool and Wolverine movie?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know why I was giddy over that fact.
Anyway, I suppose we should get to the Marvel stuff because
Yeah, it's the big thing of the weekend.
Oh yeah.
well, yeah, certainly the most buzzworthy stuff.
Yeah.
Deadpool and Wolverine is very quickly on pace for $1 billion.
True, but that may not mean much in the wider MCU world because Deadpool is kind of his own little pocket dimension.
Yeah.
He is now officially Earth 10013.
And it's probably best to keep him that way.
Well, there's gonna be
because
there'll be crossovers from now
him in
on.
an Avengers movie would sink the Avengers. He doesn't work in an Avengers movie.
You haven't seen Deadpool and Wolverine yet, then.
No, I'm like, no, but I know what Avengers is. I know what the nominal Marvel Cinematic Universe is, and he would break
say that
it.
the unannounced cameos were worth the price of admission.
Like,
Yeah.
no, I
Yeah.
do not agree with this assessment.
Oh,
Huh?
Mainly, no, I'm talking about Deadpool showing up in an Avengers movie. Like,
okay.
oh no!
he's
I'm saying the reverse. The cameos.
no.
No, that would be fine.
The price of admission.
Yeah. It's like I'm saying, Deadpool going around breaking the fourth wall, overall shattering the verisimilitude of Marvel dialogue can get jokey and maybe a bit self-aware, but it's never making fun of itself. It's never breaking the fourth wall and all that stuff.
How can I say this without spoilering? This basically puts the Dimension / Fox universe to bed, but also consolidates it into its own timeline within the MCU.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
That's a
all
good
the TV.
assessment.
That's all the TVA stuff.
Right, but
Right.
Kevin, you know what I'm talking about with some of these surprise cameos that were like, "Holy shit, they went there."
Yeah, I know what they are. Yeah, one in particular is like really shocking.
Right. And
I won't say what, but yeah, it's like
the way they did it dirty too was pretty hilarious.
But I suppose we should, talk about the biggest thing to come out of really San Diego Comic-Con in general, and that is, Robert Downey Jr. is making his MCU return as Dr. Doom.
Now, I want to take a moment before you get into that seriously. A lot of people were skeptical about this, and I did some reading on this, and I found some confirmation that RDJ was originally supposed to be Dr. Doom in the 2005 Fantastic Four movie.
It's possible, but here's the thing. There's not much point in speculating right now. Because
I suspect he's going to appear. I suspect he's going to appear because the Fantastic Four are supposed to debut in the latter half of 2025. So I suspect he'll be in a
yeah.
post-credit sequence prior to the Avengers movie, like Thanos was.
Yeah,
It's
that's probably
yeah,
what's going to happen.
yeah, because we do what we do know about the Fantastic Four movie, now called Fantastic Four First Steps, is Galactus is going to be the villain of that piece, which
Oh
Yep.
boy, they're
You know-
rebooting the Fantastic Four again.
Well, they have to
I
because
realize
there's
they have
nothing
to because
about-
the
there's
Fox
nothing about the
series
Fox
was bullshit.
versions,
Yeah.
and I say that plural. There's nothing about the Fox versions of the Fantastic Four that fits into it. You couldn't even slide the Roger Corman 1994 disaster into that continuity.
Fair.
right, yeah, they have to redo the Fantastic Four. But once again, the
Yeah.
good news is we're skipping origin stories here because you know,
Yeah.
we don't.
We've
We don't need-
we've heard that to death.
Space
Mhm.
Rays,
Not-
moving on.
Yeah, it's like not to the extent of say Spider-Man or Superman, but it is a
But
bit
yeah,
try.
Pretty close.
Well,
pretty close.
And Pedro Pascal playing Reed Richards, he's a little too old to be doing a pure
Yeah.
origin story for the Fantastic Four. I think it's
Right.
better to start them already on the ground running.
Well, and like with like Batman and Spider-Man, they can at least change a little bit how like close he was with their family before the tragedy happened.
Mhm.
The
Well, it's also
Fantastic
worth
Four,
mentioning-
it's just space rays how they got their powers, you know?
Yeah, well,
Right.
it's also worth noting with Fantastic Four First Steps, this is still going to be a throwback series. They are like they're going to have the Fantastic Four in the 1960s.
Yeah.
I mean, in fact, the logo is very
60s, yeah.
60s Jetson retro futurism style. Like, so it's going, one of the questions is how they're going to bridge, the Fantastic Four from the 60s to the present day. Hopefully it doesn't involve the Skrull again, which would be just,
I mean, besides
as a-
Doctor Doom, though, isn't that like their primary antagonist?
yes, that's what I'm getting at. Like, the Skrulls are one of the Fantastic Four villains. It's like them, Doctor Doom, Galactus, Namor, the Submariner. There's a few more, but
And
you know,
Namor is generally not a straight villain.
yeah, it's just
He's
like
an
Namor is.
antagonist.
Yeah, Namor very much a classic Fantastic Four antagonist.
He's more
Which
of
is
a
why I thought it
chaotic
was kinda
force
weird.
and not a villain.
Which is why I thought it was kind of weird that they brought him up in Black Panther, but it was good that they introduced him at least, so that way we have some foundation for his fuckery.
Anyway, getting back to Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom. So, one thing to keep in mind is the MCU isn't as tightly scripted as everyone thinks it is. Like, or rather, it's more flexible than I think it's given credit for. Because
Yeah.
It's not the first time, though. I mean, it's not the first time that they had a roadmap and then abruptly changed it because of negative circumstances.
Because
Or
Blue
because-
Asshole from the future is a hard villain concept to sell at the best of times.
well, not just that,
No.
but
Well, that
this
and
is
his
going
primary
back to
actor.
like this is going back to like phase one. Remember, like the Infinity Stone thing that they later said was fake. That wasn't.
Uh-huh.
That's what I'm saying. The MCU is filled with speed bumps and reality writes the plot and yada yada yada. The fact that they can pivot off of the Kang dynasty to Doctor Doom is a testament to the flexibility of the future. Honestly, this is, in my estimation, not necessarily RDJ as Doctor Doom, but Doctor Doom should have been your endpoint in the first place. If you weren't going to use Galactus as your endpoint, which once again, I get why they're not doing that because Galactus is kind of similar to Thanos. Maybe
I'm
not in
sorry to-
methodology, but
I'm sorry to make a point out of this, but it's Galacticus.
No, it's not.
no, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's Galactus.
Hmm.
It's always been Galactus. Anyway, he's pretty similar in stature to Thanos in terms of like
Mm-hmm.
world-ending catastrophe, but can be reasoned with. That's kind of how the Fantastic Four usually avert disaster with him in other media.
You don't really want to eat Earth right now. We're very acidic. You'll get indigestion.
Yeah, or they convince the Silver Surfer to go, tell him to go elsewhere, something like that.
Well, he'd probably get heartburn digesting Tiamat.
Mm.
Tiamat's still there, and that's how we're getting adamantium.
Yeah. Well, we hadn't gotten to New World Order yet.
It's now called Brave New World.
Brave New World. Yeah, that's what it is.
People felt that in light of the current political climate, that calling it New World Order would be a tad upsetting to viewers.
That and the WWE may have sued for copyright infringement.
That's possible too.
Still, yeah. Apparently, Brave New World is looking to be much more grounded, like comparable to the Winter Soldier, which is probably for the best.
Well, it's a setup for Thunderbolts.
Yeah. And they're
which is
bringing in
which is one of our big three for next year.
Yes. And they're bringing in Sidewinder, the leader of the Serpent Society. Bit of an obscure pick there, but sure, why not? Right. So, and one film that was notable by its absence, at least if you hadn't been paying attention, is Blade is completely off the docket now. But once again,
which leads to a reference in Deadpool and Wolverine. That was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And could be a portent of things to come.
Well, yeah, because everything I've been hearing about the Blade movie is they are just having the hardest time getting this thing off the ground for whatever reason. I'm like, I don't know, maybe they need to hire Wesley Snipes again.
Trying not to give spoilers.
I mean for the actual Marvel Blade movie.
I'm getting some kind of weird premonition based on what I saw in Deadpool and Wolverine that what they're considering doing is having all of the Fox characters in their own continuity, and that there will be occasional crossovers between the universes. But we will go forward forever with telling alternating stories between Earth 616 and Earth 10013. And if that's the case, then what happened in Deadpool and Wolverine, and you saying Wesley Snipes should just come back as Blade, go hand in hand.
I'm like, though, keep in mind that the Blade trilogy is probably its own universe.
Well, I get that, but I'm saying going forward.
Also, technically speaking, the Deadpool Wolverine, like the Wolverine in there, is not from the Fox universe.
I get that. Technically, that version of Wolverine did appear in the movie.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like the Wolverine that they used for top billing is not, the Wolverine that showed up, that
No, and
died in
they
Logan.
make a big point of that. But I'm saying that there is a continuity of story that will go forward from that point.
Right.
It's going to be interesting because they set some things up in this movie in this separate continuity that harkens back to the so shall we say forgotten Marvel movies of Fox of the early 2000s, of the late 90s, early 2000s, such as Blade, Elektra, Gambit.
Okay, Gambit never got made, so
No, but Channing Tatum was going to play him.
right.
Wink.
I'm just noting that, it's hard to be like, I'm not sure that counts as forgotten because it never was.
Well, thanks to this movie, it never will be forgotten.
Fair.
Like I said, when you see it, you'll understand what I'm talking about. I'm basically telling you it, without saying the words up to this point, that I have now seen the movie.
Right.
Kevin, I'm sure, have you seen the movie yet?
What movie?
Deadpool and Wolverine.
I've read what goes on, and I've also seen the end credits thing, but that's pretty much about it.
Okay.
But I have seen pretty much who the cameos are and all that type of stuff and what happens.
The guest stars and cameos were expensive in this film.
Yes.
Anyway, getting back to RDJ as Doctor Doom. One thing I would not expect is to get the Doctor Doom wears the mask at all times.
Oh, no.
Because, how do I put this? That's not how it works in Hollywood. Because, actors want to make sure their face is on screen.
No, Doctor Doom usually wears the mask for reasons.
I don't know.
Well, Doctor Doom wears the mask. No, Doctor Doom wears the mask because he's disfigured under it.
Right, but here's the thing. There is also a very strong movement to get a sequel to Carl Urban's Judge Dredd, and he wore the mask the entire film.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing he saw was the lower half of his face.
Well, we got a reboot of Judge Dredd where that didn't happen.
Yeah, but I'm saying, yes, Sylvester Stallone, but I'm saying that what people actually want a sequel to, a follow-up to, is the highly underrated 2012 Carl Urban film. There is a precedence for attractive big-name actors wearing a mask for an entire film.
Right. I mean, the question is, would RDJ, who's getting paid significantly more than like $80 million, apparently?
I think he would. I think he would, because he likes playing complex characters, as he said.
Well, also, I suppose we have to address the elephant in the room, since it's come up, and that is the whitewashing of Doctor Doom.
Oh.
Well, here's the thing. Doctor Doom is Romani in the comic.
Yeah,
that is
Victor
true.
Von Doom.
Although, Victor Von Doom is not the only Doctor Doom.
No, it's not.
Right.
Actually, not at all.
There was an evil Tony Stark.
Right.
Yeah.
There was an evil Tony Stark, Doctor Doom, in another reality. Which is what a lot of people are thinking might happen here.
It's a possibility.
There's technically a comic book basis, and it would tie into the multiverse shit.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, people really need to stop looking directly at the comics for inspiration, because the MCU, the MCU does take storylines from comics, yes, but is very much its own thing.
Yep.
I'm like, so, getting upset about the lack of comic book accuracy now, because this isn't even the first Romani character that's gotten the whitewash. Look at you, Scarlet Witch. Yeah. So it's also, they may be thinking about this in terms of like, how do I put, the political correctness, the wokeness, the, apparently DEI viewpoint, as it's, it's
Another,
like,
another term that if I never heard it again, I would not be disappointed.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they may be thinking having a Romani as a villain is a bad idea. I'm like,
yeah.
It's like,
Although
I don't-
although technically they don't need to make him Romani, they could maybe
They
do more Eastern European
yeah.
basic.
It's like, I can see the concern about having, a Romani super
Yeah.
villain who,
Yeah.
whose one of their powers is magic. I'm like,
Mm.
I know that's
Yeah.
more attached to Jewish people, but people make
Yeah.
up stuff about Romanis all the time.
Right.
So I can understand why they may not want to go down that route for that reason.
Gypsies and witches and warlocks. Oh my. Yes.
Yeah. Though we don't use the D word anymore.
Well, it's not meant as anything specific.
I know.
So
I know.
I was making a point. I wasn't advocating its use.
Right. Like,
I want to be clear about that.
indeed. Anyway, in regards to the Avengers, we've gotten the rebranded names for the next two Avengers movies, as it's going to be Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. Like, and also the Russo brothers are coming back.
Yep.
Like, and they're being paid $80 million to come back. Like, so a lot of money.
Movies.
Yeah, I'm like, in very, very related news on that front, Ike Meyer, whatever his last name is, Ike Perlmutter no longer has Disney stock.
Yeah, you go.
Yep. In case you forgot, he's the guy who went ultra cheap on the Marvel stuff. Like, denying catering to the cast members and shit like that. Levels of penny pinching. Not even joking. So we are in the complete opposite of that era now. If they're willing to shell out hundreds of tens of millions of dollars for people. Anyway, so I think that's a good roundup of the proceedings that happened at San Diego Comic-Con. Major events and middle events. Obviously, there's a lot more that came out. In regards to comics, but like I said, there's a lot of space there. So, anyway, I think that'll about do it for this week.
All right. So what do we got? What do we got for next week? Allegedly.
Galax?
Well, my friend B.H. Pierce, who is a bit of a writer, has agreed to be on the show to talk about some of the books he's written, which are mostly in the fantasy genre, and possibly we could also talk about some of his ideas about world building, because he's given some interesting panels on that subject at the convention that I usually see him at these days.
Neat.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to that. Make sure you get in contact with your friend.
I have done so. He's already joined the server and stuff. So
perfect. All right. Well, definitely something to look forward to. And I think that pretty much wraps things up. For the rest of this week, I'll be working on the rent, so I have not proceeded with my expanded streaming schedule, or shall we say, re-expanding into existing streaming schedule. The hope is that if I can get the VTubing machine restored this week, then next week I can start doing Honkai Star Rail and maybe some Overwatch 2 or some FPS nonsense with Alina and Atman on Fridays at 9 p.m. Pacific. But we'll see how that goes. But otherwise, it's business as usual. Blue Mondays and more Moonhawk Studios Presents on Wednesdays. So until next time, I'm your host, Mac Paladin. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there, kids. Eddie fan?
Ready?
Are we clear? Oh. Are we still on the air?
We're still on the air. Eddie fan!
Oh dear. I mean, we heard from him just like a little bit ago. I think.
I don't hear snoring.
Yeah, I don't hear snoring on the
Did that
mic.
lightning storm get him?
Oh, wait, I see no icons.
What?
You need to shut off the show, dude.